I know it's a little bit of a cop-out to call something a review in progress. I mean, if I haven't finished the game, I probably shouldn't be reviewing it. But in this case, with PSVR2's new farming game, Across the Valley, I think it's warranted. I put about 4 hours into building up my farm, and while I could probably sink far more time into it, I'm at a pretty logical stopping point, and I'm curious what, if any, content updates Across the Valley will get before I go any further. Across the Valley is the first real farming game that's made its way over to PSVR2, but nothing about this game looks next-gen, even in the slightest. The animals are cute and they carry most of the charm in this game, but there's only a few places to visit here, and as you can tell from the social screen, it looks extremely bland. But graphics are the least of my concern. When Across the Valley was first announced, I thought, hey, even though this was made by one guy, it certainly could be great. I'd love to build up a farm and then just hang out there, walk through it, and enjoy what I've made. But the only way to get around here was with somewhat utilitarian node-to-node teleportation. It certainly speeds things up when you're just trying to get your chores done for the day, but it brings the immersion down to single digits. Now, if you heard me talk about Across the Valley on Gamescast, you'll know I complained about constantly teleporting into walls. But since then, the developers have updated the game to eliminate all turning options, which surprisingly resolved the issue. It does mean that all turning in the game has to be done in real life, but it's really not an issue. When you teleport from place to place, you'll generally be facing in the direction that you need to be facing. Just know that if you see any click turning or issues with collision detection in this review, well, then that's footage from the launch version and has since been patched out. But once I got acclimated and accepted the bugs, I really got invested in building my farm. You start with almost nothing, just one small plot of land, no animals except for one little chick, only one type of seed, and that's kind of it. But over the course of time, you'll be able to buy more farmland in order to grow more crops at once, which you can sell one by one at your cart or complete specific orders for extra money. But you can't sell all the crops because you'll need a good amount of them to feed your animals. I started with just one chicken, and after a while I was able to save up to buy a baby lamb, which is f***ing adorable. That eventually grew up, and every few days I can shear it in a minigame and sell its wool. It's a fun game, but I do wish the wool was a little dirtier so it would stand out a bit more from its skin. And next I got a cow that, when you milk it, has the strangest, but I'm guessing weirdly accurate, adaptive trigger support I've ever felt. And as of this review, I also have a pig that helps me dig up truffles. It seems really strange to call a game that relies on node-to-node teleportation VRAF, but a lot of the elements here really are, so at least there's that. Taking care of the animals is a bit like monitoring 5 Tamagotchis at once. Each one needs food, water, to be cleaned up after, and needs a little bit of love. It's a silly excuse to pet each of your animals every day, but I didn't mind. I played Across the Valley for 4 hours straight, and these things are so cute that it's hard not to form attachments to them. I don't think they can die though. I accidentally got a pig long before I ever bought any potato seeds, so that pig was starving for days, and, well, he's fine. One of the things that really bugs me about Across the Valley is that it simply doesn't go far enough with the upgrades. Creating more farmland, updating your house, and getting multiple animals is great, but all you're really doing is creating more work for yourself. Growing crops involves planting the seeds, watering when necessary, weeding, and of course harvesting the crops, then retilling the soil in order to prep it for the next seeding, which is fine when you only have 2 or 3 plots. But once you have 5 plots, it's so time-consuming and monotonous that I'm baffled there aren't any machines that you can buy as part of the progression system. Every other game I've ever played like this, Dino Frontier for example, makes you do the work yourself at the start of the game so that when you can eventually afford some automation, it feels like a huge relief that also frees up a lot of your workday. If Across the Valley let me save up to buy a sprinkler system, an auto-tiller, or even a farmhand to help me clean up after the animals, we'd be looking at something really special here that I'd want to play endlessly. Despite its low-budget graphics and relatively limited scope, Across the Valley surprised me with its addictive gameplay loop that continually expands the formula with new crops, more animals, and plenty of upgrades to unlock. Until it doesn't. After a few hours, the monotony kicks in, and I didn't feel like there was enough new stuff to strive for, or anything that I could buy to start minimizing the workload. So while I was on a high for a minute, I'm walking away a little disappointed. For 10 or 12 bucks, I could see someone getting some fun out of this. But I really hope we see some content updates in the future, and if that happens, I'll come back and finalize this review. But for now, I think my life on the farm has come to an untimely end.